Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for the WPL Season 8, Week 5. This is my battle versus Jake, coach of the Miami Mimikyus. I believe he is currently 2-2 after picking up a win last week over the Dunsparce, as we did take another L last week, which is why we are 0-4 now. Looking to pick up a win in the near future, and I mean like this game. That's the near future, you know. I mean, it doesn't have to be this game, although I would like it to be this game, since I want to believe for at least like one more week I'm not out of playoff contention. And if I win this week, it means I'm not out of playoff contention. And that means even if I lose next week, I'd still be in playoff contention going into the second half of the season. Even though we all know I'm not making it, since I'm 0-4, and I'd have to win out, and I have a decent team, but a bad player behind that team. So, anyway, I built this team at 6 AM and played this game at 6 AM. So, I was wide awake clearly and ready to battle Jake. Now, my team is built of 6 different Pokemon, which I know is very surprising since that's not normal, clearly. So, first up we had Magmortar, which I was running a sub-belly drum set. With the Salic Berry. Next up we had Steelix, Free Attacks, Rocks with the Leftovers. Then SD Free Attacks Sizzle, Toxic Free Attacks Blastoise, 4 Attacks Magnet Coco, and Electric Seed, SD Sub, High Jump Kick, Acrobatics, Lucha. Oh, one other thing, the Blastoise's item was a Wakan Berry for like Helioisk, and also potentially Wild Charge and Ember. So, I'm going to lead off with Blastoise, and hoping he leads Ember to maybe check my lead, because he clearly doesn't have this Tentacruel right here. Clearly. Anyway, he leads Tentacruel, I lead Blastoise, and this is the point of the battle I realize something. I do not have a way to clear entry hazards. You see, this Blastoise does not have Rapid Spin, and the Sizzle doesn't have Defog, and the Coco doesn't have Defog. So, pretty normal for me. I mean, last week I also didn't bring hazards, and or hazard control, and it didn't work out too well for me. So hopefully he doesn't click T-Spikes because he sees this Rapid Spinner on the field that would Rapid Spin them away. Anyway, I go hard Coco, and I get completely red making that switch, and my Coco's now crippled, which isn't very good. Now here I do know he's going to be making the switch into probably Florges, although Lardy is also a pretty safe switch, as they can both actually take T-Bolt, which depending on on his spread here, he would die to my Thunderbolt. Now if he has like a good chunk of SPDF investment and HP investment, he would live and he would be fine. And by fine I mean less than 10% HP. So obviously he's going to make the switch, and I'm going to Volt Switch out. Now Volt Switch wouldn't have done as much to Florges, and Tentacruel, and wouldn't have done anywhere near enough to kill. It would have done about 80% if he hadn't got like any SPDF investment. So if he did, he would have been probably taking like 60. And I'm going to bring Magmortar in because I realize this is the easiest one on his team to set up on, since I can sub on a potential Toxic, and even if he clicks Moonblast, it doesn't break the sub. So I sub here as he goes hard Lati, and I just click Belly Drum. I have no reason not to. I'm doing the most damage to him if I do click Belly Drum. I'm doing a lot more than if I don't, so I click it. And this is the point I don't have Return. I have Flare Blitz Earthquake. This was one of those things about, you know, I prepped it when I was quite tired, and played when I was quite tired, so I didn't think about, you know, having moves that wouldn't, you know, knock me out with recoil. So I had Flare Blitz and Earthquake. Earthquake's fine, and Earthquake made a lot of sense, since he had things like Ember and Tentacruel I otherwise wouldn't have been able to KO. However, Flare Blitz, if I click it once, I die, pretty much. I should have had Return. Now, if I had Return, I'd be able to knock him out. Flare Blitz does not. I do get the burn, which is kind of nice, and I mean, he just goes to Psyshock. Now, he's at like 10%, but if I click Return, I actually knock him out and potentially do sweep him. Now, I will tell you I wouldn't have swept him, and we'll talk about that a bit later when we see something, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Anyway, I go Coco and click Volt Switch, and he gives me his Lati. So Coco finally picking up another kill. I believe it only has about 3 kills, and we're 5 weeks in. And I think it's one of my higher killing Mons. So anyway, he goes Ember, and I live this hit. Now, I knock him out. This was a really big misplay on his end, in my opinion, because I don't see any reason for him to go Ember. He should have always gone Tentacruel, because at least with Tentacruel, it's not 100% sag. You know, I should have 100% been sturdy. If I was sturdy, I would always live any hit. So, I wasn't sturdy, but it didn't matter. I lived anyway. Because, you know, he had Flare Blitz and it didn't kill. Showing me that he wasn't Banded, because Banded would have killed. Jolly Band actually kills. At least that's what I'm pretty sure the calc said. But, yeah. So, I feel like he should have gone Tentacruel to go for the Skull Burn, so if you do get that, you don't actually have to pick one sack at that point, but I will take Ember, considering I have nothing else that can really do anything against it. Even my Blastoise set, you know, I have the Wakan Berry to take a Wild Charge, but I can't knock him out after that. My Skull does about 80%, so actually no, I would kill him after Wild Charge Recoil, but if he weakens my Blastoise a bit, you know, this is a huge threat for me. So yeah, and I pretty much had to pick a sack against this, or let something go down to the health Steelix is at, and I would have always picked Steelix. It was the least valuable Pokemon on my team, and I always want to knock this out over getting Rocks up, because sure, he does have 2 mons that are weak to it, but like, I feel like getting rid of Ember is much more important, and Weavile's not that big a threat, and Yanmega doesn't look to be that big a threat either, so yeah. As he goes Yanmega here, and he goes straight for HP Fire. Now, I don't actually know this was HP Fire, I never confirmed it, but I think it's pretty obvious. I have a team of Mega Scissor on it. You've got to have something for it, and this works. And now I go to Lucha, and realistically, I feel like this was a bit of a 50-50, because if he clicks Protective, he's faster than me, and he could potentially win the game at that point. So yeah, that's only because I wasn't a speed boosting nature. So I could sub here and predict that, or I could attack. Now I attack because I figure his best play would be attacking me, since he doesn't know at +2 he'd outspeed me. So it's safer for him to go for the attack. And he sashed. Now that's why my Magmortar would not have won the game earlier. However, you know, this set was the whole reason I wouldn't have won. He did say he had Protect on it, which, I mean, isn't surprising in any way. So, you know, he could have just protected and then knocked me out in 1 Air Slash. So, I wouldn't have got to do much with Magmortar. But unfortunately, that really hurts me losing Hawlucha there, because Hawlucha really was my best breaker. Like, if he didn't have that Sash, I don't think I won. But he would have had to give me big damage on on Tentacruel. And by big damage, I actually think he would have had to give me Tentacruel. So yeah, I'm pretty sure oh no, it would be, he'd go Florges, and I do a lot, but I don't think I'd kill it. So yeah, but I'd get damage, a lot of damage on one of his Mons, so that would be what's important. However, the Sash really does help him out there. Now, of course, now I go Sizzle, because I have Bullet Punch, so it's my best play. So I go Sizzle, and I click Bullet Punch, because it was my best play. And at this point, he brings Tentacruel in. And at this point, Tentacruel is the only thing stopping me from winning the game with Sizzle here, with Bullet Punch, because Weavile and, you know, what is this one called? Florges, definitely are not living that here. So, yeah, I'm going to U-turn, and I had a good chunk of speed investment, which you see does actually really help me out. I don't know what I put the speed investment on for, because I didn't actually put it on there for anything specifically. I just had max speed Sizzle, and you see it works right there. So here he's going to go for the Scold and not do anything really, And I'm just going to start clicking Scald back, because I don't really have anything to hit him. My 3 attack moves are Scald, Aura Sphere, and HP Fire. So this is realistically my best damage against him. And I'm doing nothing. So I'm going to double to Sizzle on the Sludge Wave, because I know Scald won't knock me out. So I figured he might Sludge Wave, as he does. And I get the U-turn here. And I needed this damage to put him in 100% in knockoff range. So at this point, I just sack off Blastoise here. And I have no reason not to. So after this, I do misplay slightly. I should have gone Sizzle. I went Coco. I don't know why I went Coco. Again, this was one of those things I feel like I wasn't thinking too much about. If I go Sizzle here, I win the game 2-0. And honestly, doing as badly as I am right now, differential does matter a lot. I believe I'm currently neg 14 differential, so even one extra point could be very important. So unfortunately I do throw that away. And now the only thing I want to make sure I don't do, because even when I'm in the game I of course know he could still win right now. If he can Wish Pass into his Tentacle, he can still win the game. So as long as I don't let him do that, I do win the game. And he just knocks me out of Moonblast, knowing that I wouldn't let him do that, so yeah, that's going to be game. We're actually going to be able to pick up our first win. I'm going to knock this out with Bullet Punch. The only realistic way he could win at this point is if he is Sashed Weavile, and he has the most incredible set of all time, and he's like max special attack HP Fire. Maybe that could knock me out, but of course he's not that. So we're going to just knock out Weavile with Bullet Punch, and then Tentacle will go down to a knockoff. So I could have won this game 2-0, I should have won this game 2-0, but I did throw that away, which is unfortunate, but again, I don't think that'll matter too much, since I have no hope at playoffs realistically, so differential isn't something that is too important to me. Honestly, all that is important at this point of the season is just going for those wins, as many as I can get. Realistically, that is my only goal now, is just to get some wins. You know, so, you know, it's a 1-0. It's nice to have a win now, though. It's nice to not be a winless team, because I believe there is still a few winless teams, so I'm not technically lost anymore. Depending on if those teams get wins this week, I believe the Bayleafs do not have a win yet. I believe the Cavaliers don't have a win yet. And I believe the Lanterns do not have a win yet. Not the one we played. Hang on, what's their team name? Oh, sorry, it's the Empoleons. Sorry, the guy's mascot is a Lantern, but the Empoleons. I believe all 3 of those teams currently are 0-4. They could also pick up wins this week, but if they don't, you know, that puts me ahead of all 3 of them. So at least I'm not, you know, at the back now. I believe I was. I don't believe I've been in 16th overall the whole season so far, and I want to stay away from that position. I was in 15th going into this week. I believe technically I could be 16th ending this week, assuming none of the winless teams play each other, which they do not. Oh no, they do. The Bayleafs and the Empoleons do play. So technically, I cannot be 16th by the end of this week. I can still be 15th. I probably still will be 15th or 14th. But it's nice to have a win. Hopefully we can pick up one next week. We're playing against the Bayleafs, who again currently don't have a win yet. They only recently joined this season as a replacement coach. I don't remember who they're replacing, but I know they were a replacement coach for someone. I believe it was for Dom. So yeah, hopefully I can win against them. I'd like to have a second win going into the second half. I'd like to at least be 2-4. I believe I was 2-4 going into the second half of last season. So, you know, at least try to match that would be nice. But yeah, that's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.